My phone just dinged.
Nice one, Trevor. Alrighty, what's up, guys? Welcome to podcast 25. Today we're here with a bunch of, well, I can't really say a bunch, but several other YouTubers. Sean, you're gonna go first, buddy. Channel and the vehicles you have.
All right. My name's Sean. I run the channel NovaTazz. At the moment, I have 4 vehicles on the channel. 2 Novas, a Trans Am, and a Dodge Ram truck. And I do car restorations, car customizations, you name it. So.
Alrighty, Brady, you want to go into your channel that is half yours and half Bison's?
Sure. I'm Brady. My channel is NoGoGarage, and well, we've only really featured one car so far that the co-owner of the channel built in college. It's a Honda Volkswagen buggy death cart thing. Did a short video on. I hope to.
I think Trevor's confused since you said Honda Volkswagen.
Right. It's chromoly. It's a chromoly tube chassis buggy with it's a Honda D16 out of like a 90s Civic in Beetle transaxle and 4-speed.
Interesting. So what other vehicles do you plan on having on the channel? Because I know you said he has a couple others, and of course you have one.
Well, he's got an LS swapped K5 Blazer that we're going to do something on, and I've got a couple Mustangs, one most important being my 92 GT with the turbo, and he's got a Monte Carlo and some other stuff. We don't know yet. We'll figure something out. We're planning on doing a Z01 LSA swap in his late 80s S10 right now, but that shouldn't start until a little bit later this winter.
Nice. Alrighty, Trevor, want to go into your channel and your current 3 broken cars?
Yeah, so more or less has turned into an auto vlog channel that I've got quite a backlog of videos to edit and post. I got a 91 Acura Integra, a 2003 Jeep Wrangler, and a 1989 Camaro IROC-Z. All 3 vehicles modified, all 3 vehicles currently broken. Basically just following me along in my builds. I've got other videos with some how-tos and a bunch of product reviews, and I've got a huge backlog at the moment. I've been a little slack on uploading lately, and there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, definitely. And the Camaro is the most recent one to encounter some drama, which I'm sure we'll get into a little later on. So that's my channel.
No, we can just go right into it right now.
Oh, okay, good. You want to see me cry early?
All right, so what happened to your Camaro, Trevor?
Well, living in the wonderful area of central Pennsylvania, I decided that one day it's a nice, beautiful day out. I will take the car to work. And on my way into work at dawn, a really large buck deer decided to run out in front of me and charge across the road, which there was absolutely no avoiding. It was basically enough time to say, shit, and maybe touch the brake. And I plowed a deer with the vehicle that is my most prized possession. And I'm waiting on an insurance adjuster to come check it out, which we'll find out if it's totaled or not.
Hopefully not.
Hey, I'm gonna tell them to tell you here something. Tell them to.
Can you speak?
No, I can't speak. Tell them to exceeds the value of the car. Tell them to put the claim just under the exceeded value, so that way they don't total it out.
Well, we'll see what happens. That was in my mind. It's on classic car insurance, so it's gonna get interesting.
Yeah, I think Lanchester wants
I
to see
have my
some
own
pictures.
classic cars that I had to do that with.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
You got any pictures of the damage, Trevor? The subscribers kind of want to see it.
What's that?
Said some of the subscribers want to see the damage.
Oh God. Oh, dude. It makes me sad to look at it.
Yeah, I know. You sent me the pictures earlier, and I'm like, oh God, that's not good.
And it's funny because at first glance you're like, oh, that's not so bad, and then you open up the hood and it's like, damn.
Where in Central PA are you?
You know where they hold the Little League World Series in Williamsport?
Williamsport.
Yeah, just outside of there.
I'm up in Tamaqua.
Come again?
I'm up in Tamaqua.
I have no idea where that is.
You know where? What is that one that's just north of here?
That's Mahoney, Lehighton,
No, the bigger one.
Hazelton.
Hazelton. You know
Okay.
where Hazelton is?
Okay.
I'm not far from Hazelton.
Oh, so we're not that far apart.
No, I'm right off of 309. Actually, I'm right
Yeah.
on 309.
Huh, okay. Yeah, that's not that far away.
Maybe we could see you two doing a collab at some point.
Maybe.
You never know. I'd have to have something that runs at this point.
That seems to be a PA. That seems to be a PA problem.
Yeah. True.
Oh,
That is true.
man.
All right, so how about those pictures, Trevor?
Well, so here's the initial damage that looks like it's not a big deal. Some paint blown off. My hood louver is destroyed. My grill destroyed. Let's see, but we get a little further into it, and I don't
Hold
know
it
how well
still.
it's coming out.
Hold it still, damn it. You're gonna have to send me those pictures later.
So headlight bucket destroyed.
It's not a
Electric
headlight
choker
bucket. It's
damaged. Here's the money shot right here.
rad support, radiator. I can't see because it keeps switching.
Yeah. Yep, that's
Yep, it's not too bad.
rad support radiator. There is each fender got a little bit tweaked. The fenders could be straightened. It's right where the rad support goes into, so it's
You
a
can
little
find
bit
those
there.
cars. You can find those cars in the scrapyard. Just get yourself a new rad support, new front fascia.
The A pillar is going to be the biggest problem, I think.
Oh shit!
Ugh.
You're gonna have to try to pull that. I mean, how big is it? Or does it all the way? Is it just the outer? Is it just the outer skin, or is it the A pillar itself?
Yeah, I think it's just the outer skin on the A pillar.
You could probably pull that.
Like the door opens fine, the T-top comes out fine, the windshield, although busted, looks like it still sits flush. So it could probably get pulled, but we'll see. We'll find out. So
Well, good luck to you,
you know,
Trevor.
I know some people where I can get parts for these cars for, but it's
Yeah.
all going to come down to what the insurance company says. And
Yeah, that is true. I'm just
Where we-
praying they do not total it, because that would be so.
Well, he can buy it. He can buy it back.
I mean, no matter what, I've got enough into it between the suspension and the engine and all the different parts into it. It's getting bought
Brady,
back.
why don't you say that in the podcast? You don't need to comment it.
I just figured that was better for comedy.
I'm missing
Well, say
something.
what you said, so that why you're rewatching this knows what the hell you said.
Right. I didn't think about that. I said it's probably going to be totaled.
Probably. It probably will. It's going to be close.
If you get a good adjuster and you tell them you're doing the work yourself, and this is a classic car, they may go with you and do what I said and just drop it just below the total value.
They might.
Considering
I mean,
It's possible.
it's going to be close. We'll see what happens
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Matt Rosenthal in the comments says, "Pray for Trevor."
I can't see the comments because
Wait. Did you cross your fingers or did you flip them off?
I crossed my fingers.
Oh, there for a second I thought you flipped them
No.
off.
I crossed my fingers.
What's up,
I
people?
was agreeing with him.
Just talking about the accident Trevor got in with his Camaro.
I can't hear it.
Huh?
Damn it.
What'd you say, Mr.
I can't hear it all. It's so quiet.
You can't hear?
My overly large
can, but it's
rear
super
end is
faint.
knocking crap over.
You have any headphones?
So,
Mm-mm.
can I go back there?
No, because I was going to say headphones might help. That's why I have one in, because my other one just kind of broke.
All right, I'm gonna have to
But,
listen
yeah.
like this.
no, you can't.
Well, we get a nice extreme close-up of Derek. Speaking of Derek, since you just got here, how about you introduce yourself?
JD Joyride TV.
Do you realize
Just
how
say
much
subscribe.
on the 4th of the
Yeah, my eyebrows though.
Seriously, Derek, give your channel a shout-out. Like, come on.
I just did.
Like everybody else
JD
is doing.
Joyride TV.
Derek. Come on.
No, it's Derek Brown Productions.
And what's your car? You should remember
Oh,
this from
my
the last
car?
time.
Huh?
So you should remember how this goes from the last time you were in. It hasn't been
Dude, the last
well.
time was like a year and a half ago.
It was not a year and a half ago. I don't think I knew you a year and a half ago.
What's
Well,
up, Trevor?
Oh, my
Martini!
man.
Sorry.
just
You're
gonna
gonna
everyone
fail
else
the podcast because I'm gonna start cussing.
Oh no! I don't want
I'm gonna warn you guys
demonetized.
right now. I have no control over. You're on camera, by the way.
Yes, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
But I have
Okay,
no
Mark,
control over this wild
introduce
woman
yourself,
over here.
Mark.
So if she roasts you, that's not my fault.
You guys are
Well,
already
roasting's
live, huh?
different. She's roasted you like 10 times tonight, so I mean.
The beauty of live podcast.
Mm-hmm. All right, Martin, go into your channel and your car.
Hey, 1 second. There you go.
One.
Wait a minute, when did he get his real name back?
So you ready for me?
What, Martini?
It wasn't on speaker.
Whoever
Okay,
just
good.
joined
He
is
didn't hear me.
Justin White.
You ready?
Into your channel, Martin, so we can go
important
into.
Right, well, my name is Mark.
Hey, I'm gonna see if I can fix some settings or whatnot. I can't hear it all. It's tough.
Alrighty.
Settings.
I don't know if it's because I'm on the phone or what. But
Might be.
Okay.
Oh, are you chewing on like a popsicle stick from the 6th grade? What is that?
yep.
That's got the joke still written on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it says go subscribe to my channel so I can hit 50K. That's what it says.
Nice.
Nice.
All right,
I just
I'll
want to
join
hit.
back
I
in
just
to
want to
figure
hit
this out.
300.
Alrighty.
All right, bye.
You don't watch the podcast.
Okay, so meanwhile, DBP is going to figure out his shit, and Martin's going to go into his channel. Finally.
Okay, so
And Mark's gonna get some lighting so we can see.
Did I scare off the 50K guy?
No, he said he's going to try to fix his settings because he could barely hear us.
No.
Nothing of interesting.
fourth and final time.
I was writing the comment.
Martin, you're super laggy.
Okay, I'm still like.
Yeah, you're super laggy.
Because the fool.
Hey, now we can call him the Queen of Lag.
Yeah, but see, he's in the dark about it.
Wow.
Roasted! I don't even think he heard any of that, to be honest
No.
with you.
But he needs to adjust his lighting. You can't even see him.
Dude,
Hey,
is
Martin,
over-
you telling a ghost story, bro?
Yeah, I'm in.
It's still in the closet.
Yeah,
Yes.
the dark meat closet.
Yeah. See, here's my light now. Got it. All right. So my name is Martin. I
No,
run
he's in the
Import
car.
I'm always in the car. Trevor knows this, right, Trevor?
That's true.
Oh, you know, honestly, if I had a good enough connection, that's the way to go. But
So my name is Martin again. I run Import Domestic. I have a 2006 Pontiac GTO. My girlfriend has the 2014 Corvette Stingray that you see right there. And now in the channel, we're going to have a new Q50 2014 Sport Edition all-wheel drive that's going to be featured in the channel that I'm sitting in. That has an amazing interior. I mean, check this thing out. It's beautiful. It's really nice.
all we see is pixels, Martin.
Oh, great. Well, if you can hear me, go to my Instagram and you'll see a bunch of new pictures on it.
Actually, Winchester Martini is not in his GTO.
That's
He said it. I'm just repeating it. He just said Martini's in his GTO, and I said no. Blame him.
Is the 35 gone?
The 30,
Huh?
no, the 37 is gone.
The 37 is
It was
finally gone.
It's finally gone.
About
I
time.
did do a bunch of skids in that car before they took it. So and everyone's gonna find out if it can do a burnout or not. Jonathan, you don't tell anybody if it did or didn't. They're gonna have to watch the video to find out.
Wait, did you show me and I just don't remember?
Jesus Christ!
I don't remember any of this.
But I did show him a video of the car skidding in a parking lot. I found the perfect place to do burnouts.
Okay, I'm just bullshitting because I think if you would have done a burnout in an Infinity, I would have remembered. So maybe Martin's just full of shit.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between skidding and doing a drift.
True.
No, I did 180s in that car.
You just gave away your whole video, Martin.
True.
Yeah, but
all right,
you still
let's
gotta
get
watch
into
the
some
video.
car topics, shall we? Alrighty, so what's everybody's thoughts on Bugatti, or Koenigsegg destroying Bugatti's record?
Mic drop. It was awesome.
Yeah, Salamandrian was talking about it.
Derek, you cocksucker.
You're gonna be demonetized again.
Fuck it. Literally, he was just in here, said he's going to go fix some settings, and then he goes live on his own damn channel.
Oh, wow.
What the fuck? Hold
Well,
up, I'm
he's
gonna
gotta
text
hit
his
that
ass right
50K
now.
mark. That was a big deal.
I know.
So what was it like
And I was
having?
like, bruh. Like,
Alright.
really, dude?
What's
That's
up?
fucked up.
I'm seriously, dude. I'm gonna send you a webcam.
Curveball.
Who?
Me?
Yeah, you. Like every time we'll be like, "Oh, Martin joined." Word, and it's like,
Martin getting roasted.
Hey, I'm sorry. I have T-Mobile.
Verizon, it'd be worse.
So.
Let's see. Let's change.
Change what, your phone?
I don't know if that's any better.
No.
No.
Like, bro,
You look like Minecraft.
Minecraft. I don't know what Minecraft. I don't. What is that a game or something?
It's a game that's literally a bunch of pixels.
Ah. Great.
Matt Rosenthal says, let's start a GoFundMe to get Monsieur Martini a webcam.
Well, you know what? The problem is he probably could afford a webcam if he wasn't buying all these cars.
But I didn't buy this
So
car.
like you with car parts and using my phone sting for your tripod.
Yeah.
You know what though? I got to side with Martin on this one. Priorities.
That's right.
Cars are more important.
Winchester said Minecraft Martini.
Orale. Hey, Sean. So that's your wife, right? I'm imagining.
You know what?
That's your wife, right?
Basically.
Oh, okay.
I'm a glorified
she's,
girlfriend.
she's like looking at you. Hey, let's look at this answer. Like figuring out what he's about to say. If he's gonna hit you or not.
She was roasting him earlier because he
Just
couldn't
an
talk
acquaintance.
straight.
He's a friend. That's all.
Yeah, just a friend. Just a friend that gave you a baby.
So what was it like having him rebuilding that transmission in your kitchen table?
I'm the one that suggested it.
That's awesome.
I know that would never.
That's the reason why. If you see the title and the thumbnail, that was so clickbait. Because I was actually told to do it. I wasn't in trouble at all.
I wanted him to get the shit done. So I told him just do it in the freaking kitchen. Just put stuff down on the floor.
Next
We'll hear
year,
that argument from somebody else, that's for sure.
The problem is I can't do that here because they have brand new floors down and everything else. So
I just got you a freaking garage.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure if you guys follow my Instagram or not, but I put up, or if you have my Snapchat, I put up pictures of the garage that I just been given access to.
I saw the pictures of the street speed that you posted of his new rap.
Oh, that one. Wait, I posted that?
Yeah, it's on yours. You don't remember?
On my Instagram.
I think I remember.
I didn't think I did. Did I?
I don't even remember to tell you, so. Okay, let's get on with another topic, shall we? What's everybody's thoughts on...
You said no.
I didn't post any pictures of street speed.
Everybody's thoughts on? No.
I didn't post any pictures of street speed. I'm not talking about the purple one, but that one wasn't a street speed.
Oh, so that was another person that looks like you then.
I don't know about that one. But...
he just reminds me of Chris, what is his name? Chris Rock in Joe Dirt.
Chris Rock was in Joe.
You're lucky we're on live YouTube.
Or what's his name? The I can't even think of his damn name right now. What's his name?
Are you gonna redeem yourself here a minute?
No, the rocker. What's his name? Freaking
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock. That's what it is. Kid Rock. Yes.
Matt, what the hell is that supposed to mean?
Martin, there is such a huge difference between Chris Rock and Kid Rock.
Yes, I know. One's black and one's white. I know that.
I gotta go racing.
At least I got the rock part correct.
That doesn't really help much.
Actor versus musician. Why you gotta make it a color thing?
No, it's just his hair. He reminds me of the movie Joe Dirt.
Okay, we get it. Sean is Joe Dirt now, okay? We get it.
No, he's not Joe Dirt. He's the other guy.
Yo, Martin, you want to check the
footprint gas pedal on that dining room table.
You said to check what again?
Wait.
Check the comments. Matt just made a interesting statement about you.
Oh, really? I need to go get my iPad then.
I'm not saying it on the podcast. I'm not saying it.
Okay.
You should say it.
I'm not saying it. Okay, next topic. Thoughts on Aston Martin being fully hybrid by mid-2020s?
You're making a mistake.
I think everybody's going to end up being hybrid by the 2020s.
Yeah.
It's going to suck ass. But hey, as long as they're still used cars and we can still buy them, I'm fine with never owning a new car. Because everything new is just going to be freaking electric turds.
Why does everybody hate on hybrids?
Because they're the death of freaking gasoline engines.
It's coming.
Exactly.
I love internal combustion, but it's coming.
Oh, yeah. There's no stopping it.
Like Jacob?
Yeah.
Nobody got that joke, did they?
Why does this?
Nobody heard you.
Because it's whoever's
I said like Jacob.
Nope, don't get it.
The chiz. The chiz.
Beeps about that.
You mean the jizz?
Yeah.
The jizzy jizz
Oh.
jizz? That's the one time you could have got away with somebody was jizzed on your podcast.
Well, he was supposed to be in here, but he forgot about it. So.
Maybe he's being jizzed.
If you're not here to defend yourself, you eat the chicken.
Okay, you want to hear what he texted me on Facebook?
Sure.
He actually roasted himself.
Well, he never denied it.
Hold on, let me find it. He said, sorry this came up last minute. I said, it's fine. He said, too busy getting jizzing off. Or too busy jizzing off.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
What the fuck? And he put the hashtag there and said, laugh out loud. And I said, I can believe it.
Why would he name it the what is it, the jizz? Not the jizz?
I mean, I know I have cars on the brain, but come on.
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, Sean, put that back on. I wanted to make a joke.
Oh, come on.
Put that back on. Hey, Sean, when did you become a Camaro?
Considering I don't like Camaros as much as I like TAs.
He's gonna transform.
He's a transformer.
The question is he an
Human
Autobot?
to car.
Is he an
Or is he a
Autobot or a
Decepticon?
Decepticon?
Well, considering Decepticons use Fords, I'm definitely an Autobot.
I never paid attention to
Keep
that.
it up. You're gonna have to work on a Ford.
That's because you're a Decepticon.
I'm a woman. What do you expect?
Yeah, always deceptive.
She wants to be rescued all the time.
Oh,
Night framing armor.
she definitely needs to be fixed and repaired daily.
The car I hope you're talking about, right?
This is gonna get bad when this podcast ends.
You know,
I see it
when
already.
Sean loses connection, we know what's going to happen, right?
Somebody's plumbing's gonna get fixed.
Someone's
I'm
going to
not
get
even going to
scalped.
say it.
Oh man, look at
Oh.
them eyes. She's not liking what you're saying, man.
Oh yes, she is.
Man.
She's waiting for the podcast to end.
Oh really? Wow.
Whoa.
Reproducing time, huh?
We've already done
We've
that.
already done that. I don't need another.
We just need to make sure the plumbing still works.
It works.
So it's more of yours. So we just need to make sure
my
that
God.
that Sean can jizz.
Dude, what website am I on right now?
Hey Jonathan.
This is what happens when I am on a podcast.
Hey Jonathan.
Hey, Jay. What is your views right now? How many people are we amusing right now?
What? 4?
Like 2.
Wow, they don't know what they're missing.
Sean talking
Apparently
about
We should
Disney?
be on Twitter or something, letting
plumbing
people
works.
know that that we're live and that this shit's funny.
Oh shit, that reminds me, I forgot to post it on Instagram. Whoops.
Oh,
My God, you horrible cam girl. You know that?
What?
I said you'd make a horrible cam girl.
I don't want to be one, so.
you got the lag
No,
going.
if you've ever had like cam girl friends on Twitter or shit, the whole time that they're live, they're sitting there telling people that they're live and that this is happening in their show right now to get people to come in. You suck at driving people into your channel.
Oh, hold up. We gotta go to the
We're live
Wow.
right now, just so everybody knows. Oh, fuck my life. I had it on.
damn, I'm blanking out on the name.
You're going to be so demonetized on this video. It's not even funny.
Bro,
All
you
right,
gotta stand up
Martini.
and say something so you're full screen showing off that t-shirt.
Hmm?
The t-shirt.
For this, right?
What
We're
does that
live
say?
right now, and
That's
oh,
awesome.
Oh, I love it.
You gotta say
this
something.
little light of mine is gonna let it.
Yeah, you gotta talk.
Well, we are live right now. Check out the link in the bio. Unless you're watching after this is over, then the link in the bio is to the last video. But definitely come check the podcast out. Sean is getting roasted.
Hey.
Yeah, apparently his plumbing doesn't work.
Plumbing doesn't work.
And
Her
my plumbing
plumbing's
works.
her plumbing is fine apparently.
Or
Oh, fuck you.
that was 9 months ago.
But I'm sorry, what happened 9 months ago?
A man and a woman got together, and yeah, 9 months later, there's a baby.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That whole clip is being posted.
Oh wow,
What clip?
that clip we just did.
Well, I mean, it's
Anyway,
gonna be live on the channel with the whole thing, so.
everybody that's in here right now should be posting on their own personal pages that this podcast is happening now.
Yeah, that it's going
Exactly.
south quick.
Fuck you, Martini.
You want me to take my
Well,
shirt
no,
off?
as in, no, I'm not going.
No, Trevor.
You're misconstruing what I'm saying there, Jonathan. As in that it's getting really sexual and nasty. That's what I'm talking about,
You're
bro.
the one who's been
We need to
taking
steer
it
this
that way.
back towards cars.
Yes, please.
So who's all going to this event on the this weekend?
I know Jonathan's going.
And
Not
if
too
you guys
far.
don't know what event he's talking about, it is the YouTube call out, which this video will be live on Friday if you're not watching it right now. So obviously the next day is the YouTube call out of Cecil County Dragway. The gates open at 8 a.m. Event starts at 9 a.m. So if you guys want to come out or whatever, I know nobody wants to really see me, so I really don't
Because
care.
otherwise, we're not getting in the gate.
Drag racing, see everybody else or whatever. Sean, you're gonna be there, right?
I'll be there.
So Sean will be
If
there.
not, you'll be square, right?
No.
Wow.
He's not SpongeBob.
Wow.
I'll be there making it look good.
Meanwhile, Trevor's going to be hosting a Halloween party in central Pennsylvania.
Oh, God, no, there's already too many people. Don't invite more. Oh. Of course, if anybody wants to give me a ride.
You could always come down with us. You could always come down to the event with us. All you have to do is get down to my house.
Yeah, somebody got to pick me up right now.
I know exactly how you feel, Trevor. And then meanwhile, Brady's not going because he's going to be playing band in a football game.
Hey, speaking of that, how's the car, man? How messed up is it?
It's pretty messed up, Martin.
Oh, man.
It's pretty bad.
He told me
Like,
about it
the whole front
this
flip.
afternoon. Anything else?
A little bit. I didn't show him the pictures or anything yet, but
Oh, you got to show me what happened to
Yeah,
it.
the adjuster's coming tomorrow. It's bad, dude. The whole front nose cone is broken. The headlight bucket's broken. The radiator and the radiator support is bent in.
The hood, you need a front fascia. You need a rad support. You need at least that. You're gonna need a radiator. Did you have a transcooler or anything in the front of that?
No, it's manual.
Okay, so you're gonna need a radiator. You're gonna need a core support. You're gonna need the front nose.
Yep.
A radiator?
Yeah, radiator.
A radiator?
radiator, whatever.
Girl oil. You're gonna need at least those, and most of that stuff you could pick up at the junkyard. I mean, it probably won't cost you more than $900 to fix.
It's
And at a
getting
junkyard
out the
part.
metal that is the hard part.
What
Right.
about the frame and the frame rail in the front? Is it twisted?
Yeah. Right.
You don't sound
Right
confident.
where the nose meets the fenders is bent in a little bit.
Okay.
Oh my God.
It needs a
That's
whole
not part of.
support, and it should be.
Yeah, but that's not part of the frame.
What's that?
That's not part of the frame. That's part of the rad support.
Hey guys,
No,
remember how we were
we're-
making those jokes earlier about Sean? You will
Yeah.
not believe what
What
Matt
about it?
Rosenthal put in the comments
What did he put?
that I just noticed. I'm not sure if I want to say it. Trevor, how about you look at the comments and you say it? It's the one that it's a sentence that starts with G.
I gotta open them up. Hold on.
Is anybody looking at the comments besides me?
I'm looking at the comments right now. I'm
Martin, you read
screenshotting
it.
some of this stuff. No, I'm not gonna read it.
On
You know what sentence I'm talking about, don't you?
I mean, I'll probably do it. I just need to get there.
Okay. It's the one that there's 4 words in the beginning that start with a G.
No, I'm not gonna read it.
You know what sentence I'm talking about, don't you?
I mean, I'll probably do it. I just need to.
Yeah.
It's the one that there's 4 words in the beginning that start with pause your video.
I mean, I like the let's start a GoFundMe for Trevor. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, look at the one that's 2 above that. Starts with a G.
Bruh. I mean, I like the. I'm getting an echo. Hold on. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, you need to pause the video.
They're talking about getting a GoFundMe to fix your Camaro too.
No, it's before that he's talking about.
Yeah, no, I see what they're saying.
Martin just doesn't want to say it.
I'm not gonna say it.
Oh my
Say
god.
it, Trevor.
Nah, you know.
Are you talking about the Family Guy reference?
Wait, is that a Family Guy reference? I'm not sure.
Yes, it's the Family Guy
I guess
reference.
it is.
Okay, for everybody watching, I am just going to screen share real quick so you guys can see it because I'm not saying it.
Yeah, it says giggity, giggity, giggity. That's
Oh, it says more than that.
Or after that, nobody wants to say.
Let's have.
Wait! Everybody, stop. Was that the "Here in My Garage" guy that I just saw pop up?
Yeah,
on the
that's
screen?
the fucking ad that was on my video.
Oh my god!
But literally, this is what Matt said.
That dude's still alive? How's
I
he
don't
gonna
even
act
know.
this 5 minutes and 12 seconds?
I don't know.
That's like
I
looking
just
at the whole
paused
podcast so far.
But
I
that's
got
what Matt
books in
said.
my garage. I read.
Yeah, that's his name's Ty. I think he's supposedly a multi-millionaire.
Lopez.
He's supposedly a douchebag is what I got out of it, but that's just me.
That's what I've heard too.
Hey, you know what? Unfortunately,
I've heard multiple different stories.
unfortunately, douchebags make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honest normal people aren't interesting enough.
He reads and he you know giggities bitches and stuff.
Yeah, he could get it them. Well, at first he was pretty inspirational, and then he started having a lot of half-naked women on his videos.
Let's be serious. That dude was never inspired.
Well, no, I'm just saying when he first.
Well,
like,
we all know
like,
the ladies
what, 3
were there
years
to
ago.
pick the cha-ching, not to be with him.
They're there to clean something for him.
Why were these comments in there? I can talk right here.
Wait, what happened?
Phone, damn it.
I'm kind of liking Matt's comments about the radiator.
Yeah, Matt. Okay, next topic. Do you guys think Mazda should bring back the rotary engine, or do you think they should just leave it in the past?
Yeah, if Rob Dom was here, he'd be like, "Bring it back."
We all know Rob
He
Dom
would
would say
advocate
bring it
for
back.
it.
Well, I mean, let's
Yeah,
be
that's what I'm
serious.
saying.
The rotary has no business being in modern technology. It's not
Why
efficient.
not?
It burns oil. It can't comply with emissions. It sucks overall, except for the simple fact that it's one of the coolest engines ever.
But have you seen the new updated rotary?
No.
What is it in?
Because there is a redesigned rotary that is a hell of a lot more efficient and it doesn't burn oil.
How?
I have to find the link and get it to you at some point, but there was a whole thing on it. There was a private guy that literally redesigned the whole rotary motor and tried to pitch it to Mazda, and it's a hell of a lot more efficient with the newer materials that are out now compared to what they were in the 80s. It uses the same basic design, but basically improves all of the areas where the original motor was not very efficient.
I'd be really interested to see how it doesn't burn oil.
Because doesn't it have jets that squirt oil into the combustion chamber? If I'm not mistaken, there, Trevor.
Yeah, because there's the way the current one at least is designed is there's no other way to lubricate the apex seals.
Right.
Yeah,
I
Winchester
know
in the
I know that they
comments
changed.
says. My bad. What were you saying?
Well, go ahead.
I was saying Winchester in the comments said that Mazda recently patented the rotary design with some hybrid technology. So,
That might help it on the low end.
yeah.
I mean,
You know,
the
with
biggest
some power.
downfall of the rotary for the last 20 years has been emissions.
Right,
Well,
and that
not
had a
just
lot
that,
to do with.
but don't forget that it has no.
I can't use my phone right now because my phone is doing the podcast. But I wish I could just pull up that that article.
You need an iPad or use the computer like I
You
do,
will never see me have an Apple product. So,
or get a Samsung tablet then.
well, you got to understand right now. If you guys have watched my channel, you realize that I had a very life-changing event happen in the last like 3 weeks. Right now, I don't even have any internet in this house right now. So
Oh,
I
okay.
have 2 laptops sitting over there that are doing me absolutely no good because they have
That
no
sucks.
internet.
You want to ship one to me so I can edit?
Huh?
Because I edit everything on my damn phone. I shoot everything on my phone, edit everything on my phone.
Unfortunately, you're not getting an Alienware laptop, so no.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice laptop.
Yeah, thanks to me. Along with everything else in your life.
Oh, fuck you. Later.
So the truth comes out, huh?
Wow.
Roasted.
Sean, I mean, I don't know if she should be on the podcast with you.
Matt Rosenthal's like, good night, assholes. I have school tomorrow.
Young
Nice language, Matt, and good night.
That's why I'm honest. That's her car. This is my mother-in-law's car, not mine. My car's the GTO.
Well, technically, I paid for all of my cars. She just hadn't had to pay for a lot of other things because of well, that's a gag order, and I don't
Yo,
know
Martin.
Yeah, tell
The
me.
Chiz is in the comments, and he said, Martini!
Yeah, I see him.
Oh, well, I guess the
So
whole
why does he
moderator
never?
thing stays with the account or whatever, unless I or takes it off of him. Because he's still a moderator from the last one he was in. Well, there you go, Jizzy. You got to be a moderator in the podcast. All right, next topic. What is everybody... What, Trevor?
No, I'm just laughing at it. It's like, finally, we're moving on to another topic.
Well, I was gonna say before you move on. Anyway, I wanted to say one more thing about the rotary engine. There's a big problem with Mazda where it just has no grunt on the bottom end, no torque.
Well, that's not the problem. That's part of the beauty of the engine. It's just the engine's not efficient.
Well, Mazda's trying to come out now with an electric supercharger that uses, that's the technical hybrid part of it, to where they use regenerative braking, and it uses a supercharger to help on the low end, and then it's twin turbocharged for any sort of RPM.
Wow, okay.
I don't know if supercharger's gonna work, to be honest.
Why not?
We've had Mighty Mods prove it that it wouldn't work in the past. You know those guys from Australia that are just like Roadkill?
Yep.
Yeah,
Never
I don't
heard
know
of
that it would work, but it's a cool concept. I like the
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, I like the thinking too, but it isn't gonna. It's not unless they can over-engineer an electrical system that can spin a shaft impeller fast enough to make any difference. I don't see it happening.
Well, from what I was reading, it was supposed to be like a full hybrid system. Instead of a motor powering the wheels, it would just power the supercharger.
Yeah, Martin, you're talking about one of those eBay superchargers that goes in an intake tube, though. That's not what Mazda would be working on for the actual engine.
No, that would be most likely just like a
All right, guys,
like
hold
almost
up.
like
Let me
a
say something real
belt-driven
quick. I'm going to be
supercharger.
right back and get a drink. You guys continue that topic. Then if anybody has any topic they want to start while I'm getting a drink, go ahead. If you guys aren't done with the rotary time by the time I get back.
Cup holders in old cars.
Yes.
No
Well, this
shit.
one actually has good proper cup holders. I don't know if you can see them.
The lack thereof.
They're pretty significant. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can
If
see
you're
them.
driving an older car and you need a cup holder, you ain't using that car for what it should be used for.
I dailied my Fox body for about a year, and you just kind of had to stick the drink in between the handbrake and the seat. It was bad.
Then you weren't driving that Fox body hard enough.
Dude, for my Camaro, I got one of those cup holders that like has the little wedge that goes in between the glass of the window and the door panel.
Oh, I remember those.
I still have one, dude.
Hey, you know what? You know what? Speaking of that, I saw this guy that was showing off his pickup truck, and what he did, he used his windshield wiper reservoir as a whiskey container. So what he did is he emptied the reservoir, completely flushed it out, put the whiskey in there, pulled the hose, put a new hose, and put it through the firewall, so he can refill his drink.
I saw that on Facebook the other day. I was dying, dude.
Yeah, there's your cup holder. It's like, take a shot.
What about Martin's
He
cup
just
holder?
uses- No, there was some guy that was using the reservoir to the windshield wiper fluid after he flushed it, and he was putting whiskey in that thing. And he put a hose through the firewall where he can take a shot.
Now
Directly from the hose.
let's make a public service announcement. We are not condoning drinking and driving.
No,
Yeah.
please do not.
Because that
Hell, you
Yeah,
shouldn't
don't.
even be on your
his
social
channel
media and drive.
demonetized.
Put down your phone.
Yeah.
So what's the next topic?
Okay. Next topic is, what's everybody's thoughts on Pirelli offering colored tires that can talk to an app, apparently?
What?
What?
Well, I haven't heard
Yeah.
about that. Anything.
You must not follow my Facebook page then, Martini, because I shared the post a while back.
Do you know how many Facebook pages I follow?
Oh, me?
I don't know. I don't really get on Facebook that often.
Really? Yet every day I see you tagging me in some kind of post. Don't get on Facebook off in my ass.
Well, what I'm saying is, I might like put something from like YouTube and I post it. But...
No, you tag me in Facebook videos too.
Right, but what I'm saying is I get them from YouTube. I'm not on Facebook. As an I share them.
What?
Okay. What's everybody's thoughts on that though?
It's neat, but why?
What's the whole premise of the app talking, or what does the app do anyway?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, like, explain.
Well, I wish I would have put the link in here so then I could double check, but that's all I wrote down for the topic.
I think it just lets you change the coloring of the letters on the side.
I don't know. It's possible.
One of those, it has LED colors, not like. They've had that where they had like the LED lights in the rim, and that when you're driving, you can change it on your phone or whatever, and it'll display a picture where the rim would be with the LED lights. I've seen that before.
I've seen that.
Right.
What's the tire thing?
It goes on their stem, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Martin, your camera. Never mind. Your camera took a dump there for a second.
I said it goes on the stem, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, no, the one that I saw wasn't on the stem. I forget what it was, but it went from the hub all the way out to the tire.
Right. Yeah, because it projects on the face, basically.
Yeah, because as the wheel's spinning, it looks like one solid image instead of
right. Yeah, it's like a laser image of some sort. I don't know how the heck they do it, but
it's LED lights.
Basically,
but if it spins, it changes the light color or turns it on and off, and
right,
it changes fast enough that it looks like a picture.
Huh.
I think I'm gonna just turn off the
next
camera.
Topic.
This is so laggy.
Okay, so here's a good one. Front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive, and why? Which is better and why?
For
what
what?
condition you're in.
Okay, which one do you
use in the
prefer?
Well, what are you using the application for? I mean, if you're talking like snow or off-road or track or because each one has different things that it's good at doing.
Okay, first, let's start with. Well, I mean, obviously, snow. You're going to say all-wheel drive. That's a no-brainer. So we might as well not even put that in there.
Well, it depends. Like I prefer rear-wheel drive, but then again, I'm used to driving rear-wheel drive. I prefer it over just because I know how to drive in the snow with it.
Well,
Trevor Eaton again.
remember when I told you I drove that Infiniti G37 in a snowstorm going to Denver? It drove just fine, and it's a rear wheel drive vehicle with the what is it, 330 horsepower or so.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously I was going.
So what about for drag racing? Do you think front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive?
Rear-wheel drive.
Or all-wheel drive?
For drag,
In
rear.
fact, if you can get one light enough, probably all-wheel drive for the launch.
Yeah, look at the Nissan
Yeah.
GTR.
Yeah.
Yes, I was about to say people making the R35s, drag
TSM
cars and stuff.
cars, the Talon TSIs, they're pretty crazy.
Yeah, baby.
Even still, for drag racing as a whole, nothing's ever going to beat rear wheel.
No, because they're light enough. The problem with the all-wheel drive cars, they're just too heavy.
Apparently somebody's
Yeah.
Well,
I
that
think
weight
it's more-
transfer.
I think
The
it's
amount
more loss through the drivetrain than weight.
Yeah,
They don't
the
know
amount
what-
of horsepower you have to make to overcome that initial weight is just.
Yeah.
You can make that same horsepower in a rear-wheel drive car, and it'll just take off.
Actually, I
You
was
get
gonna
the
say
suspension dialed in, you look, you go. It doesn't matter what else.
I was gonna mention one all-wheel drive vehicle that is super fast, but now that I think about it, there's three of them. The first one is the 918. The Tesla Model S, the P80D or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah, but that's an
It's
electronic powered car.
P90D, I think.
Or
Isn't
P90D,
isn't
there you go. And then
isn't the Tesla an electric car?
Yeah, that's fully electric.
yeah, it's an electric car. It's fully electric.
Right, which
And then don't
means
forget
it's got an electric motor at each wheel. Am I correct?
Yes.
No.
All-wheel
So
drive.
I don't consider that's not the same as a standard all-wheel drive car.
I'm mistaken. It has only two electric motors, not in each wheel. The one that has electric motors in each wheel would be the Rimac Concept 1.
Okay, so it has an electric motor for four-wheel drive and an electric motor for the rear-wheel drive.
Yes.
It's still not the standard concept for an all-wheel drive vehicle.
Okay, the Nissan GTR. Still does quick. It's still fast as heck.
Right, but how much horsepower does it have?
Well, depending on your boost.
And if you take a rear-wheel drive car with the same amount of boost, it'll beat it down the track.
No, it won't.
Maybe, depending. Any given Sunday, right?
No, the GTR would get it. There's a lot more involved than just all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive. I mean, there's suspension, there's everything. It's not just
The GTR
one is better than the other in every
just-
situation.
I think Trevor was about to say it, but just look at the Demon. What it can do.
I wasn't going to say that. What I was going to say is the GTR also has variable power transfer.
Right.
So it's
Actually,
not like a Mitsubishi Evo where it's just all-wheel drive. The GTR will start out launching with all four wheels distributing power, and then by the time it's at the big end, it's fully rear-wheel drive.
Right.
But the thing is, you got the weight there. Is the big thing is how much that car weighs.
Does
If
it
you
really
take
matter?
that same amount of horsepower and you stick it in a car that weighs half that weight, even if it rear-wheel drive, it's going to be able to get up to speed a lot faster.
Nah,
But now we're not talking about power. Now we're talking about weight, and that's not.
But that's the problem. That's the problem with the all-wheel drive cars is they weigh so much more than a rear-wheel drive car.
I mean, it's not that much of a difference when you take like the Huracan, the rear-wheel drive version versus the all-wheel drive version. It's only 100 or so pound difference.
It's like having my big fat ass in one of those cars. The same damn thing. That's like having Jonathan and I in the same car. I'm driving and he's riding shotgun, recording it.
Oh, hell
It
no,
wouldn't matter.
bitch. You're riding, bitch.
Well, not if I own the car.
Wow.
Anyway, I mean,
You can hear
You didn't
the
say anything
crickets
about you
now.
owning the car, so.
there's a lot. I mean, the one thing that a rear-wheel drive car will always struggle with in a high horsepower
Traction?
car is traction. Exactly. You have to have a big, meaty tire.
That's like the advantage that all-wheel drive has, is they get better traction
Exactly.
than
Exactly.
rear-wheel drive. So
And
the
it's
launch of an all-wheel drive car will be much better than a rear-wheel drive car really ever could be.
That's why
There's so
JR
much
should
more
take.
technology in it these days, though, that weight is always a factor, but it's not near as pertinent a factor as it used to be.
Yeah.
Especially
Weight
in a
used
straight line.
everything before technology came into it.
Like even now,
Weight and horsepower.
the one thing I just found out about this Infiniti G, actually I'm sorry, Q50, it has the all-wheel drive system of the GTR.
Huh.
So that's one of the things I just found out about, and it was like, really? Like I didn't know about that. So there's a bunch of components that came from the GTR that came into this vehicle.
Interesting.
You know what the biggest problem is that everybody's forgetting about this whole conversation? It's
What?
still a Nissan.
Yeah. What I like about this
Just a
thing
very
here,
expensive version.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's not
It's on
that,
the
this
weather.
car wasn't that bad, actually, because it's still used. But, actually, that's not what I want to do. Where the heck is the thing to switch this?
Winchester said, so the gearbox is at the back? Question mark.
And the Infiniti? I'm not sure. But check this out. This is
Do you have a
freaking
drive
wicked as
shaft
hell,
or
man.
a torque tube?
I don't know. You know what? According to this thing here, the transmission is just is up on the top.
On the roof?
In fact, this is one of the other things that's really neat. The same stuff that the Nissan GTR has.
Nice, Trevor.
I tried.
What? What did you say? Oh,
You
shit, look,
said
it
the
has all this
transmission is on top, and Trevor said on the roof?
No, not the roof. No. In the fucking about. You guys can't hear me. Fuel economy. Where the hell is that thing?
No, it's a joke, Martin.
Okay, got you.
Oh my god, sometimes you're a little slow, bro.
I'm gonna kick your ass, Jonathan.
Sure.
Could you say that any slower?
What'd you say, Sean?
I said, could he say that any slower?
I'm waiting for a GTO joke to come in somewhere.
A what joke?
A joke on Martin's GTO.
What about the GTO?
I don't know. Everybody's talking about you being slow, and I'm just waiting for a joke.
So basically you're waiting for someone to say it's just as slow as he is?
There we go. There it is. There's the joke.
Oh my.
You jackass.
Look, did you hear how laggy that was? It was like, you jack ass.
That's why I said, could he say it any slower? I'm going to kick your ass. Would you stop?
Sean's getting fingered. That sounded better when that sounded worse when I said it.
So it has a lot of the same stuff that the GTR has.
Stop! No! Leave the kitty alone!
Next topic.
I'm not alone.
What?
What just happened on screen there? I'm gonna leave that joke alone.
What? That Sean's
You mean-
touching? Never mind.
He's touching your pussies.
Just
On
like
camera.
the pet the pussy. She likes to pet the pussy a lot. That went out with the 80s.
Check this out, Trevor.
I hear it's making a comeback.
This guy with
A comeback or?
Oh God.
Trevor, I know what's going through your brain. No.
Nothing.
No, the chiz isn't here. The chiz isn't here.
Martin, back to your not GTR. What are we looking at?
So this has a bunch of the functions that the GTR has.
Okay.
Well, you gonna fucking tell us, or are we gonna guess?
Well, no, I'm just
Right.
saying it has. I'm just saying what I'm saying. It has a bunch of GTR technology in this car.
Point.
Well, you gonna tell us what the technology is, or are we supposed to sit here and guess?
Well, no, it has the G meter. It has everything else. It's got, like your angle for your steering wheel here. So it records all the stuff right here.
That I was looking for.
All the tells you how much throttle you're pushing, how much you're
I got that shit on
braking.
my phone, bro.
It tells you everything. Your fuel ratio, how much you're squeezing the accelerator, the
I do
airflow.
believe
It tells
the,
you everything.
I do believe the ZL1s have that too.
And Dodge.
So,
Yeah, I know that.
Dodge has
This
it too.
This
The
came
Chargers
from the
and
Nissan
stuff,
GTR.
what is
Wait,
Does it have
hold
a
on,
little
hold on.
flower
We
that comes
have
up
a
on the
comment
large
from the
tire?
not car person. We have a comment from the
I
not.
said a comment from the not completely car person. What's the point?
Of what?
What?
Martin babbling on about his non-GTR?
All of that crap.
What you got?
Oh, you mean like the technology that's put into cars, like all this information and straight on the
Yes.
screen?
Why do I need to know the angle my wheel is at?
I don't know. It's just there. What can I say? I didn't build the damn car.
It's for go fast.
pointless
Well, clearly, because it would probably fall
non-car people
apart,
to buy it.
Martin.
I don't even want my backup camera most of the time.
It even has this function here that's supposed to keep track of how you're driving. If you jerk the steering wheel one way or the other, like
I don't need my car to tell me how bad I'm driving. I know I'm bad at driving.
That was the
If I
worst.
wanted my mom in the car while I was driving, I'd invite her to come drive with me to
So-
be a lot cheaper.
so what this thing does, it'll break individual wheels.
That's called ABS.
It'll break the wheels, huh?
It'll break individual wheels while you're driving. So let's say you
Wait,
swerve to
wait,
go
wait,
avoid
wait.
something.
You just said it breaks individual wheels. Why the fuck is it breaking the wheels?
Like break.
Yo, VS.
Somebody's breaking his
Martin's
phone.
internet connection.
Decepticons are taking over.
No. Here's the thing. We need to GoFundMe for Trevor's Camaro. We need to GoFundMe for Martin's internet.
No, it's not. It's not the internet that's his problem. Like Jess said, the Decepticons are taking over.
You know what's funny? He actually has Autobot things on his GTO seats in the back
Oh
seat.
my god. But anyway, what he was just describing, that's stable management control, ABS, and traction control. They've been doing that since the 90s.
Dude, did you see what Linchester said? He's like, so the GTR basically has like a PlayStation 2 display. It's so true. I never thought of it.
He's got the PS2, one of the oldest ones.
The PS2.
I mean, this damn car is like driving a freaking video game. See?
Oh, so you're admitting this car's like a PS2.
Martin, you always come back in.
I'm just like this car has a fly-by-wire steering wheel.
Martin, you gotta understand
know if
something.
you guys
Bro.
knew
Every
that.
time I'm on a podcast with you, dude, you will lag and you will cut out, and somebody will make a funny joke, and when your connection comes back, you're like, "Yeah, this is great. It's just like a PlayStation."
The thing is that, all right, I got another topic here, and only because he brought this up. What do people think about the fact that, you know, a lot of the major functioning systems in cars today are not analog control anymore, like steering, braking, and throttle, and shifting?
I don't like it.
All right, but my problem is in a car like my TA, okay, when you put input to the steering wheel, that's putting a direct input into the wheel itself. In a car like his, he can turn that steering wheel all at once. If that computer fries, those front wheels are not going to turn.
Actually, that's where you're wrong. This has a safety system that has a clutch, magnetic clutch, that the moment that those motors fail, they engage and it turns it into a traditional steering system.
Okay, my other thing is what's stopping somebody else from hacking that computer system and
That's a whole
steering that
other
car
thing.
for you?
In fact, I think Chrysler put a new patch in all their MyLink systems, or what is it? What the heck is it called? Is it MyLink or whatever works for whatever the system is? So the program for Chrysler basically, but people were able to hack into those vehicles and drive them.
They were able to hack into like Jeeps or something. I remember seeing a video about it.
It was like the one from Marco, the Jeep that he has. What is it called? The Jeep? It's not a Wrangler. It's a Jeep Compass. No, Jeep.
Well, it doesn't really matter what kind of Jeep it is. It's a Jeep.
It's a Jeep,
Get the
regardless.
point.
But they basically had a way for hackers to get in, and they patched it not too long ago. But obviously, at some point, somebody's going to figure out
until the hackers find a way to get around it, Martin.
Right.
My point is, I would much rather have my car that has that analog control between the major functions. I mean, I don't care if the computer can control my seat or something like that, but when it comes down to throttle, braking, and steering, I'd like to have control over that. That way, if I want to freaking, you know, those are some important functions that my life is dependent on.
Right.
You know, I don't want some computer or some person up in the, you know, somewhere remote location deciding where, when, and how I'm going to freaking go.
And the good point that you're putting out too is that that's why you don't want to buy a car that might have low miles, but it has been in a minor flood, because these computer systems can screw up at a moment's notice as you're driving, and guess what? You're in trouble.
Yeah, you know, how many times have we seen it already where throttles get stuck open, not because of a mechanical failure, but because the computer fails. And it just gives it wide open throttle. And there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter. Huh?
Look at what happened with Lexus.
I mean, it's not just that. I mean,
remember that officer? His throttle got stuck and he killed his entire family. He was trying to get off the freeway in California and off the embankment.
There's also been several things where high profile people that were in high profile, you know, positions ended up mysteriously running into telephone poles or off a bridge right before critical things, and they were in these cars that can be essentially driven by a remote hacker.
Is this turning from a car into a conspiracy theory thing?
This is the reason why I don't like a lot of newer cars.
No gravy! No gravy!
Well, I mean, you got to think about too that a lot of these
Thank you.
have
One
been
person got that
airplanes.
Joke. Thank you.
I mean, that's how they fly their airplanes, right? They're all fly by wire. They don't have no physical connection to the ailerons. It's all computer based.
So when did they start doing it to where everything was computer based? Like what years around was that?
Well, I know the Mustang went to a fly-by-wire throttle back in 05. The newer Mustangs were there was no physical connection between the motor and the throttle body. I mean, the pedal and the throttle body. Which I know a lot of people converted that back over to analog as soon as they got the cars.
Same thing happened with Chevy. They did the same thing with the LS2. The LS1 was
Right.
the last one that was a mechanical connection. That's why anytime that you buy a throttle body to a LS2 or LS3 or any of the LS engines that have a fly-by-wire, it's two items. It's the intake, right? The throttle body with the pedal. It's all one system. You can't have one without the other.
You can buy a pedal module for it that you have to go into the computer and then change to run. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous how they all have to
But
be
it's a pain in the but
together.
it's a pain in the ass to do that. Is what I'm saying. It's just
Yep.
easier
Yeah,
to
whenever
just
you
buy the
do
whole
an
thing.
I know whenever you do an engine swap in a newer car, you basically have to take the whole donor car and take it apart because you need just about every component out of it that's connected to that computer.
Like the other thing I just found out is that even with Tesla, it's so darn sophisticated that you can't replace any components. Like let's say a door lock that fails because it has to be programmed to the ECU to recognize that door lock does not belong to the previous wrecked car. So every component has basically a code that belongs to that particular vehicle, just like theft lock on stereos when they started that.
Uh-oh.
What?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I
Oh,
said,
I
remember,
No,
like
Trevor,
the
your internet just took a shit like Martin's.
I did?
just like the yes.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I heard Martin stop.
But like, what I'm
Well,
saying
I
is
mean,
just
isn't
like
that
the
what
old
user
stereos that
does?
had the theft lock. That would be the same thing that the vehicles from Tesla has nowadays.
I mean,
You can't even replace the stinking door switch.
from a car enthusiast point of view, things are getting more complicated. Whereas, like you're saying, you have to take everything out of a donor car for any kind of a swap. But from a manufacturer point of view, everything is getting more refined and so fine-tuned.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just
Which
annoying.
set of shoes you want to wear for where your viewpoint is on how this is going.
No, I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing.
You have
It's
to
just
bring them to the
annoying.
dealer to get fixed because as cars get more and more complicated with technology, nobody's going to know how to fucking work on them except the dealers.
Well,
Now you're gonna have to be an engineer.
here's a really funny story about that. So, at a dealership that I worked at one point, we had a customer come in, and they traded in a Ford Model T.
What the hell?
A new Nissan.
Wow.
Okay? They had an old Ford Model T that hadn't run in the last 10 or 15 years.
Okay.
They traded in this old school, fully mechanical vehicle for a new car. Not a single one of the seasoned technicians in that entire shop could get that Model T running again because the technology was so outdated, nobody understood it. So it really comes from your point of view and your education on how complicated something really is. Because even though the Model T is so much more simple than a modern vehicle, the way it was set up, none of those guys who are ASE certified super duper technicians, none of them knew how to make this Model T run again.
I see, that's sad because I mean that's basically the same thing as me because I went to school to rebuild motors. That's what my profession is. But yet right now, that profession is so obsolete that all of that knowledge that I have is basically useless.
Yeah.
Because people don't rebuild motors anymore.
No. You get no one.
They trash them.
Yep. They would gladly take a motor out of a 1969 Camaro that's all original and throw it away and drop an LS2 or some other new modern motor in there than to rebuild that motor.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's
There are
truly sad
merits
about
to
that
that, though.
statement is that a 1969 Camaro, if it has an original powertrain, it's worth more money, especially if it has low miles. even if it's rebuilt or fixed, than if you were to drop in an LS2 or an LS3 in there.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at the vehicles that I have. You know, you have my '77 Nova. The motor that's in that right now, I built on my back porch. You know, it's a 350 small block with a stock bottom end. It's got the flat top pistons, and it's got 305 heads on it with the 202 intakes. The thing makes decent power. No, it's not anything near an LS2, but it makes decent power for what it is. And I probably have less into it than if I would have just bought a freaking core for an LS2.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Same thing with my Camaro.
Huh?
It's the same thing with my Camaro. It's got the stock 305 block, but the only thing stock in it is the crankshaft. I got rods, pistons, different heads, intake, cam, carb, everything.
I have a stock block fix sitting on my front porch right now with a tabletop on top of it.
Yeah. But it's like,
No, it's literally it was originally the 305 that the heads for my 350 came with, but I turned it into an actual coffee table.
It's awesome. But I mean, I'm just agreeing with you on the point that the first generation small block Chevy is super easy and super cheap to work on, and you can make decent power, but it's never going to have the potential that a modern LS or even the new LT will have.
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
The major drawback with the old school 350 is literally the heads. The way that the heads and intake are designed are where the flaw is, because basically the rest of the motor isn't much different than a newer LS. You take an old school block, you throw new school heads on it. If you take heads that are designed off of a newer motor, but designed for the old school motors, and you throw on all the electronics that these new motors have, it can make just as much power as the new ones. It will weigh a little more,
but it won't last.
Yeah, you're talking 4-bolt main versus 6 and 8-bolt mains, and there's still a lot of differences now.
I don't know. I like my old school blocks.
I do too. I'm not arguing that at all. I freaking love them. But
I mean, I know that if I take the 400 that's sitting in my TA, and I bore and stroke it out to just over, what is it, a 462, and I can get aluminum heads from Butler Performance and get the standalone fuel management system for it with throttle body fuel injection. I can make 600-700 horsepower out of that thing and make 26 miles to the gallon.
Right.
Damn.
Or you can get an LS3, make 800 horsepower, and get 34 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, but the problem is when you lift the hood of that TA, it's not going to look like it's supposed to.
Right.
You got to understand the TA's got the shaker hood. I can literally make that motor look stock. Make it look like a 1970s, Pontiac Trans Am motor, complete with the factory shaker in the right spot, and you wouldn't be able to tell that motor was fucked with at a glance.
Yeah. On the other hand, you could build carbureted LS-based engines as well that, at a glance, to the untrained eye, you'd never know the difference.
No, the
Like
heads
the
and
LS6
everything
block?
look completely different. I find the new modern motors absolutely ugly.
No.
No.
What is it
The
about a
LS2
motor
and-
that can you find ugly?
I can't
The
stand
LS2 and the
it's the valve covers, it's the heads. I just can't stand them.
No.
You can
no,
put
the
old
LS
school valve covers on it, and you can put a carburetor intake on a new LS. You can make it look almost exactly like a small block Chevy minus the exhaust ports, obviously. But that doesn't really make sense. You don't like how something looks. I mean, I can understand if you don't like how a modular Ford motor looks, because they're disgusting to look at, but I don't know.
They're not that bad. I'm not even a Ford guy.
I have a thing about lifting up the hood of an old classic car and seeing a modern motor under the hood. It just irks me.
I think Sean is living in the wrong century. That's what's going on.
I
No,
am.
he just has
I just
respect for the classics.
I like my classics to be classics. I like my modern cars to be modern. I mean, I have no problem with lifting up the hood of a 2018, 2017 ZL1 and seeing that LS3 or 4 or whatever's underneath the hood
L2.
and appreciating it that way.
LT4, it's the same one out of the C7Z06.
Right.
Yeah.
I have no problem looking underneath the hood of a modern muscle and seeing modern muscle under the hood. But when I look to go to a car show and I see a 1969 Camaro and I see one of those modern motors under the hood, it just irks me. It's like
I like
I don't
them
know, it
both.
bothers me.
Yeah, but
I
you
like
gotta
either
understand
way.
that they're more reliable. The reliability.
Yeah, I prefer
One of those
function over
modern-
form when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, same here. I mean, you gotta
Hey,
have something that's
Brady,
reliable.
what engine's in your Mustang again? The stock one?
What was that?
I said, Brady, what was
Your
the
engine.
engine that's in yours? Is it the stock one or?
It's an Explorer Block 302 with forged bottom end.
Anything else you guys want to continue with that topic, or do we go to the next one now?
I mean, the other thing is I'm not saying that I wouldn't ever end up doing that for performance reasons. It's just I don't know. When you go to a car show and stuff, I'd rather see the old school block under the hood.
Well, heck, let's just say this: even more modern heads run better than the old school one. is a lot better.
Okay, Laggy. We're going to have to call Martin the queen of lag.
Órale, este puto jodido.
Hey! I know you said something bad in Spanish. What the hell did you say?
Yeah. Well, you did call me a queen, and the only queen here is you, brother.
You're wrong. There's a queen right here.
See, there is
Yeah,
a
but she's
lady
your-
in here. You don't need to be calling me a lady just because I'm fatter than you.
Well, you're calling me a queen. What do you want me to do? Not respond?
It's a joke!
Bend over and take it like a queen.
That's your job, bro.
Okay, next topic, shall we? Let's see. I think that Mazda will end up making another RX sports car. Or do you think they're just not going to bother?
Wasn't that like basically the same thing as whether or not RX they should bring back the rotary?
No, because the rotary, they can put it whatever the fuck they want. They can put a rotary in a crossover for all they can do.
But that's what the RX was. The RX was a rotary experimental. That's what originally it was. Pretty sure that was originally what the RX was meant.
Okay. Whoops. Oh, well.
So basically the same question, just rephrased.
Oh, well.
Are you out of topics now?
No. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys actually know this. This is more recent news. But you guys remember the guy who designed the McLaren F1?
Is it Gordon Murray?
Yeah.
What about him?
Apparently, he has launched his own car company now.
Okay.
What's your guys' thoughts on him actually making a car company instead of just designing cars for another company?
Let's see it.
Yeah, it depends on what the car is. It depends on what his concept is. What is his direction?
Yeah.
Is he doing another sports car?
Send it.
Another
It didn't go
hypercar?
into detail like what kind of car he's doing. It was just saying that he made his own company. No.
Honestly, and it all depends on how he executes it too. Because you had John DeLorean that designed the GTO and the Firebird and a lot of nice cars like that, and he went to go do his own car. And if he would have been able to design the car the way he wanted it to, would have been a very awesome car. But because of funding and things like that, the car became junk. but nowhere near the potential of what it could have been.
Well, I mean, let's be serious about DeLorean. The DeLorean was an awesome car. The problem was drugs and tax evasion.
But the thing is not all of that stuff was exactly true either. We can go into a bunch of conspiracy theories as far as that, but a lot of it was just GM wanted him shut down.
Yeah.
You know, you could very easily,
It's
you know,
Tucker all
it
over.
wasn't.
What'd you say, Trevor?
I said it's the Tucker story all over again with DeLorean.
It is. And Tucker was another great car company
there was some sketchy stuff also involved in that, but yeah, it was also the major corporations shutting down the little guy.
That's basically what the United States is done its whole life. But I mean, the DeLorean, if he would have been able to come out with the DeLorean the way that he originally concepted, that car would have been competition for a lot of the big companies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, even we'll go back again to the subject of the motor swaps. You take a DeLorean now, and we've seen people do it where they swapped in an LS or whatever into the back of one of those cars, and the car is a monster. You know, it doesn't rot out. You know, the biggest finicky part about those cars was the electronics, and the you know, obviously the way underpowered motor that was in them.
That too.
Didn't that come
I think if
from,
they would have came with better electronics or better like wiring or whatever, and a better engine, I think that car would have been pretty damn good.
But the thing is the reason why he couldn't get that was he couldn't get the funding for it. And you know, he had a bunch of things where people were fighting against him to be able to produce that car. I mean, that's just like, you know, even if you go back to GM, when the Firebird first came out, the Firebird's concept, because it was built off of the Corvette chassis, and GM did not want any direct competition for their Corvette. So they said, no, you cannot build this Firebird on, you know, based on this concept. You have to use the F body, which is the Camaro body. And so he ended up still beating the Corvette with the F body. Look back at some of the old Trans Ams and stuff. They were beating the Corvette hand over foot. But again, it's the same thing. This is like I said. GM wanted him shut down because he was. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Do you think that's why GM got rid of Pontiac then?
Yes.
Yeah, because Pontiac was a direct competition for its own performance in Chevy.
That's what I was about to say. Back in 2003, when the GTO was being debuted for the 2004, the 04 5.7-liter V8 LS1 was beating the old C5 Corvette. They were testing them out in a track down in Phoenix, and they were debuting them for all the different insurance companies where they were teaching them about the vehicles and everything else. And it was beating. In fact, they had to detune the 04, not to beat the Corvette.
Well, they were using, it was the same motor from the 97 to, I think, 03 or 04. They used the LS1 in the Corvette before they went to the LS6, and the GTO went to the LS2 in 05.
Right, but the reason I know that is because, of course, I have one of those. But I'm just saying that, I mean, that was always the competition to even Camaro. It was even always faster in the past.
Yeah, the Firebird was all. I mean, even though basically they are the same essential car, there was just enough different tweaks in it. Suspension handling. I know that even the motors, they were getting a little bit more power out of the motors in the Firebirds than they were the Camaros.
They were more refined.
The difference was through the first two generations. Once you get into the third generation F body, they were essentially the same.
Well, even the interior.
Through the second generation, Pontiac.
Well, I mean, the third generation there was a little bit of a difference. Hence, the Camaro didn't have pop-ups, and the Firebirds.
I'm not talking styling though. I'm talking actual engineering. in the second generation Firebird and
But they weren't. They were the base models were.
Pontiac engines. In the third generations, everything went to small block Chevy. And
Right.
that's,
I mean, but the thing is
essence, what ended up killing off Pontiac in the end is Pontiac became Chevrolet, and it just became a version of Chevy that had different fenders and headlights.
But no, it wasn't just
killing it because they tried. It was more of an economic and money thing, where they consolidated everything. They made it all the same for production value, and it all ended up becoming the same. And they just killed off the Pontiac brand because more people were buying the Chevys than the Pontiacs, and they were the exact same thing.
But I have to stop you there. You're wrong. You're wrong. The Pontiac and the Firebird and the Camaro were essentially the same at the base level, but when you got into the performance versions of the Firebird, they weren't the same. The Camaro SS was not the same thing as a Pontiac Trans Am or a Firehawk.
Right.
Sure it was.
Or
The car
no, it wasn't.
a lot different.
It was more refined, brother. It was more refined. Even the interior says it. Even it shows it.
You're talking styling, though.
No. Besides
No.
Besides
And
that,
you know what? Honestly, though, the styling isn't just for styling. Yes, the outside styling of the car was flashier, but it had purpose to it. You know, the increased downforce and the way that the car handled at speed was a lot different between the Camaro and the Firebird.
They weren't that different.
Even the suspension setup was slightly tuned differently.
They had to work with the same. They had to work with the same chassis, but the cars were not the same when they met at the end of the production line.
There were slight differences, but my point is it was.
But those slight differences made big differences.
You know what I'm catching on to here? It's two Pontiac guys versus a Chevy guy, and I'm just watching.
Sort of, yeah. But the problem where it lies, though, is Pontiac was no longer Pontiac. It was GM. It was Chevy with a Pontiac badge with like, okay, here, use these Chevy parts to build your Pontiac and do it different. And that's what killed
it was. Brand. But the thing is, it still was Pontiac designers and engineers. They used the basic.
I agree with that 100%. And that's what made subtle differences. But the problem is, and I'm not trying to hate on Pontiac. I love the fact that Pontiac had differences. That's what made the second generation Trans Am so good, is where everybody else was cutting back for the emissions things. Pontiac was like, well, screw it. We'll just make a bigger engine.
I'm not even talking about you. Let's go with the 98 to 02 Trans Ams versus the Chevy the Camaro SS's. You take them both on a track.
Those are the only differences.
No, because the Pontiac motor made more horsepower than the Corvette the Camaro did as well.
I don't think
it wasn't just. It was a whole package. Yes, they started out with the same base, the same parts, but it's the way that Pontiac was parts into
the execution. The same exact motor in both cars.
The exact same thing.
Differently.
The execution of the way they would tune it. In fact, even Pontiac had more options, more power outages or power. Like for instance,
outages.
Like the power level.
What are we talking about? The power grid, Martin?
The Trans Am, the Pontiac Trans Am, and the Camaro SS were 325 horsepower LS1s.
Like for instance,
if you went with a Firehawk or a Trans Am, they had different. They had different.
Don't forget the formula.
Different. The Firehawk is a special edition.
Huh? The Firehawk went through a whole completely different process once it left the factory.
I'm agreeing with you. The Firehawk is completely different.
The Trans Am was the same thing. The Trans Am had more power than the Chevy SS.
No, it didn't. It's the same thing. It's the same exact.
The WS6 models did, I know for sure, because they had the Ram Air style intake, but then Camaro came out with the SLP versions of the LS1.
But that was in the very end too.
It's all the same thing with very subtle differences.
But it's those subtle differences that make up so much more.
The fact that they're the same thing with just slight differences and very slight horsepower differences and tuning differences, that shows the end of an era. That's where GM took these two companies and forced them to become the same thing, and basically that's what killed Pontiac. Is you had these Pontiac company and engineers who were just struggling to try and be a little different with being given the same exact thing as what everybody else had.
It's like when they started bringing in the Holdens for the new GTO.
Yeah, it's the same thing. That's like the Pontiac G8 and the Chevy SS. They're the same thing.
It's the new revised vehicle.
You know, so you had these two companies that were given the exact same Lego pieces, just different people, and said, make what you can out of this format. So it was essentially the exact same thing. It's just a couple different ideas, a couple little tweaks, but overall, it's all the same parts.
Except for Pontiac did it better, and they got rid of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was considered the, what is it, performance, what the heck did they call it? In all the commercials, they would say it. Hold on. I'm trying to think about it. Fuel for the soul. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
It just, Pontiac always
They
had
called
more
it
attitude.
Pontiac excitement.
Right.
That was the
Excitement,
catchphrase.
and then fuel for the soul. That was the last thing they were using.
Yeah, I remember that one. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to hate on Pontiacs. It's just the fact that GM took these two separate companies, and in the 80s, they made them basically the same thing. And it was only a matter of time before one of the two disappeared.
And, you know, the biggest reason why they got rid of Pontiac versus, like, let's say Buick, apparently Buick does really well in Asia, in Europe, and I believe China.
Yeah, Buick does really well with the 60-plus age group.
Yeah.
True.
You know, and even all the excitement vehicles that they started bringing over that were Opel with the turbos, they were just lacking the power. They just needed to have more power.
For example, like with our Chevy Pontiac discussion, it's the same thing with Ford and Mercury. Mercury's gone.
Right.
Because Ford took Mercury, and where there were differences when it started out, they ended up making them the exact same thing.
There was very little difference between the Ford and the Mercury models at all, period, except for quality of the build itself. The Mercury was a slightly cheaper version of the Ford.
Well, the Mercury was supposed to be a slightly more expensive version.
Yeah, Mercury nicer. Was the higher tier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always thought they looked cheaper.
And then, of course, it's the same thing as the Lincoln, which that was like the highest tier car, like the town.
Yeah,
town
well,
car.
that was the thing is you had Ford, Mercury, and then Lincoln, which
it's
is
like a nice cop car.
Chevy, Buick, and Cadillac.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a nice cop car when it came to Lincoln.
Yeah, and it's the same thing as Ford and Mercury started getting so close to each other. It's the Chevy and Pontiac story all over again. The mother company ended up making these two different segments work off the same thing. So they grew to be so similar that eventually it was like one brand killed off the other because they were the exact same thing, except one cost $5,000 more for no reason.
Yeah, because they used to call Pontiac the excitement division. I remember that quote from Bob Lutz.
And it's like so sad because Pontiac really went out with a bang. Like they were coming out with some really cool stuff before they got shut down.
Right.
But it just became that GM just strangled them.
Right.
There was no difference anymore.
Well, look at what's been going on with the SS, man.
Valiant effort, and they had all these cool cars coming out that were. It was almost like near the end, Pontiac was almost making its own name all over again, and then GM was like, they just squashed it. It's sad.
Well, like I was just saying right now, like look at what's going on with Chevy. Okay, the only car that has a rear-wheel drive car with just over 400 horsepower, it's like it's the Chevy SS. There's nothing else.
Well, the SS is going away too. This is the
Right,
last
it's gone.
year.
This is the last year. In fact, you can't
Yeah.
order anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever's in dealerships, that's it. And the sad part is that, like, for instance, the Impala is a great-looking car. It drives nice, but it's a Ford-driven car. I mean, the engine's in the front with the wheels being driven in the front. It needs to be a rear-wheel drive car, like the old car,
Yeah.
like the one in the '90s. And they had a perfect opportunity to make the Chevy SS into the Impala, but they chose not to do it.
Now,
They couldn't.
has anybody else seen the rumors that they're bringing the Chevelle back?
Yeah.
I've heard.
It's
We've
supposed
talked
to be
about
either
this.
a 4 or 6 cylinder though, and it's like, yeah, great job, guys.
So it's basically just like they did with the SSR and the HHR, and it's just a half-hearted attempt, and the fucking the Dodge Dart.
Yeah, there you go. The Dart.
Yeah.
Just take a really great
huge
car and
mistake.
bring it back and like just totally kill it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys knew about this, but they're saying that they're going to stop production with the Impala too. They're going to be killing.
Yeah, I heard
Really?
something
They're
about
not-
that because I
not-
think the Malibu's sales are doing a lot better than the Impalas.
No.
Yeah, the
And they're basically almost the same car.
Well, not the same because it's definitely bigger and it has more horsepower and it's roomier. It's more of a full size, luxury. I mean, it is nice, but there's a lot of
Yeah, but
faults in
the
car.
Malibu is coming up.
Yeah, it's
It's
catching
not
up, for
that
sure.
different anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem
It's just
with
they're
the
too
problem with
similar to where I don't think Chevy wants to justify having both.
Right.
exactly. And so this is where Chevy needs to step up, and hopefully somebody from corporate listens to this podcast after all the discussions that we had previously to make it serious. Is what they need to do is bring back the SS, bring all the machining that they have for the SS from Australia, start building it here, and maybe redesign it a little bit, make it a little more aggressive, to resemble
Because
the
the
Pontiac
SS
GA.
really wasn't that aggressive.
No,
Well,
it
that
wasn't.
was the
It's a
beauty of
good-looking car, right? It's supposed to be
That
a
was the
sleeper.
beauty of it. Is it's this subtle 4-door that nobody understands is a super
Well, here's the
powerhouse.
thing, though. The Chevy SS was a fucking sleeper. That's
Yes.
what it was. It was a sleeper.
But they never
Nobody
marketed
knew
it.
what it was. Nobody understood what it was. Nobody knew that it had a fucking Corvette engine in it.
Yeah. And that's what's
And
killing
it's
it.
like,
Is,
and then, you come right up next to somebody who thinks they're big shit, like, a Honda or something. They think, oh, this is just this 4-door sedan. It ain't gonna whoop my ass. Floor it and goodbye.
whoa.
Yeah, you whoop their ass, of course.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Well, and of course, like I've already shown Jonathan, there's a bunch of variances of the Chevy SS, which is the Holden Commodore out in Australia. They have supercharged versions that are like ridiculous. They even have one that's called the WS6, if I'm not mistaken. It's called the LSA
Yo, Martin.
What?
Martin. You know what's funny? Because remember I shared this on Facebook? It's showing the thumbnail picture as you looking completely scared shitless.
Oh God.
This is funny.
Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, they have one that has actually, 740 horsepower out in
Wow.
Australia. I mean, they have them all the way from the 415 horsepower base model Chevy SS, right, all the way to 740 horsepower.
So basically, it's not much different than the ZL1s and the freaking Corvettes at that point.
No, because basically, all it is an LSA engine that has been tuned up to the max. In fact, they were talking about these cars that they have out there that are special edition, can drop 10s with drag radials.
What are you doing?
Imagine that, a demon killer before the demon even existed out there in Australia. And it has 4 doors, not 2 doors. And it doesn't have a trans brake or none of that fancy bullshit and air conditioning cooling system for the engine.
What is it?
And it's an old LSA engine on top of all that.
She's finding all the
Imagine
Yeah,
if,
true.
imagine if GM would have brought that car over, and on top of that, it's a lot more aggressive looking than the Chevy
Well, here's the
SS.
thing, Martin. The way cars are going, like, I'll be surprised if, like, after, like, the ZR1 and the mid-engine Corvette or whatever, everything's just going to go electric. It's like there's going to be no more sport performance cars.
Right.
They're just going to die out eventually. It's going to
They're
suck
gonna be-
ass.
There'll be sport performance cars because there has been some pretty nasty, mean electric engine cars out there.
Oh yeah.
Let me rephrase.
There's not going to be any internal combustion sports cars.
Yes, correct.
I'm gonna show you guys.
All right. Well, I think the podcast has been a little longer than expected.
I'm gonna
But
show you guys that photograph of that car.
okay. This fool always interrupts me.
Look how
Yeah,
look how
Logan's pretty sick.
expensive this car is compared.
Yeah, I'd drive that.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, I would.
Now,
One of them.
Martin,
This is.
would you
Uh-huh.
take that over your GTO?
Oh fuck yes, I would.
I'm
It's a
surprised.
G8.
And this is just one of the series that they have. They have the one that's even more powerful. They call the W1. That's the one with the 750 horsepower.
Wow.
But look at the price.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Ouch.
That's
Yeah.
what kills a
That's-
lot of cars.
that's
They
an
price them
Australian
way too
money.
high.
I mean, that's Australian money, but still, I mean, this is a car that can probably smoke a Lamborghini Huracan.
Yeah, that's
stock.
probably what, 80 grand US?
Possibly. I'm imagining so.
Possibly something like that.
That's still a lot.
But again, that's not that ridiculous then, because you get a Corvette with about the same power and it's about 80 grand.
Right.
Depending on how it's spec'd and which, model you get, whether it's a Stingray or
Let's see here.
Z06.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jonathan,
like Mike's car was what, 83? His
Yeah,
automatic.
Something like that.
84.
Yeah, because he
What were
has
you
a
saying,
base
Trevor?
model 06.
I was gonna ask if this is the first time you've had a baby on your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Hey,
had a lot
I'm a
of.
dad, so
Hey, we had
You know
a lot
what,
of
though?
discussions.
He's burping him on a Firebird shirt. That's awesome.
well, actually, he's actually on a rag, so he doesn't get the Firebird shirt messed up. But yeah,
Even better. That's respect.
And then, of course, here's the one they have in the Middle East. That's the same thing as an SS.
Yeah.
So it's got this bow tie.
Why the hell does the Middle East get this shit?
Because
because of U.S. regulations
they have a lot of money out there.
and because of U.S. regulations,
Yeah.
Here's
a lot of our
Here's-
cars are freaking majorly freaking downsized and killed because of our regulations.
Yep.
here's that
True.
W1 that I was telling you about. It's the GTS W1.
Oh
Looks like
yeah.
a Pontiac.
Yeah,
Look-
that thing looks pretty aggressive.
Look at the engine. That's the ZR1 engine.
What,
Why
C6
can't I bring that
one?
here? Yes.
Holy shit, that's an LS9 in there.
Yes. Why can't they bring this here to America?
Because it's too fast.
Emissions.
Look at the rotors. Look at the size of those things. I mean,
Damn.
I thought
I'd
rotors.
be afraid of hitting a pothole with those wheels.
in fact, this is a custom carbon fiber air intake that goes over the radiator, and the radiator actually was moved. I think it was like 4 degrees back in order to fit
Hey,
this
now
intake.
does that not sound like a Firebird thing to do?
I mean, this thing is incredible. I mean, the styling. Look at this thing. It even has in the front here. I believe they open up the aerodynamics for cruising, and then it allows air to go in and out of the fenders.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Honda CR-V does that.
And of course, there's the last Holden that came out of the assembly plant.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's the last one, man. That's the last one that was stamped.
So sad.
Mhm. It's like why can the United States, America, bring those here. Bring all that tooling over here to the United States. Make a factory somewhere. I don't know. It could be California, wherever.
Because it's the same as
Detroit.
Pontiac, which is the same as Chevy. We're circling back.
Except for the Holdens were completely freaking different.
And of course, we have
They're not, though.
the LSAs. You know, that's the Marlou, which is the pickup trucks, and those are insane too.
They really need to
Alrighty,
sell
well, I think this
Utes in
podcast has
America.
been going on for like almost 2 hours, so
Yeah, it's probably good.
I think maybe we should end it now before Martini gets on another talking streak.
Orale, come down. Yeah, at least we're
All right, well,
not
I hope
cussing each
everybody
other out,
enjoyed
huh?
this podcast and Martin's big mouth.
Orale, you son of a bitch. You
You know I'm
motherfucker.
just fucking with you. You know I'm just fucking with you. Definitely check out everybody's channel. They will be linked down below. Obviously subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check theirs out. Subscribe to them as well. And we'll see you guys next video. Also, if you guys want to see some footage from the call out on Saturday, I'll be live streaming some of it, hopefully.
Woohoo!
Assuming my friend's hotspot don't take a dump. Because the only device I have that does data is my track phone, and it sucks ass. So I'm not going to bother using that.
So he's gonna be cuddling Street Speed 7's balls on Saturday.
Track phone? Are you driving a Buick?
He has a track phone. It's like
That's what I'm
freaking.
saying. He's a Buick buyer.
Well, I'm sorry, Martin. I'm not like you and can afford to have service on an iPhone 7.
Well, apparently it's not that great because it still lags a lot.
Oh.
So it doesn't really matter if it's an iPhone
They got
7.
Android.
It's T-Mobile. What can I say? They suck.
There's your problem, T-Mobile.
iPhones suck.
It's the
Get
only
yourself
service
an
I can
Android.
afford. No, it's the only service I can
Get
afford.
yourself an Android. You can afford service.
Well, hey, that's technically what my track phone is. It's Android.
Yep. See, the problem is it helps if you have a job.
We're really going to go there.
Boop, boop, boop.
Oh, this is when you click the not live button anymore.